What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So it's that time again where we start talking about immigration reform. We start talking about a border bill. Will we see one? Will we see one? Is the Senate right now, they're working on this bipartisan bill, and they're trying to pass it in the Senate. And then the House has already indicated, which I think I just don't understand how people can say, and this is coming from Speaker Johnson is basically saying that this bill is dead on arrival. He has not seen one word of the bill. They haven't even put it in on paper yet. So he doesn't know what's in the bill, but he's saying that it's dead on arrival already. And we're talking about a crisis, and Speaker Johnson is talking about a crisis on our southern border. But guess what? Speaker Johnson's not even entertaining this bill that the Senate is putting together in order to address the crisis. So you can't tell me on one hand that there's a crisis going on at the southern border and then not even entertain the fact that you have the upper chamber putting together this bipartisan border bill. And so I'm going to show you this clip, and this is Senator Lankford. He's going to be talking. He's a Republican. He's spearheading this border bill. He's going to be talking about it and just going over some of the benefits, the positives when it comes to this bill. And I'm going to tell you what, I think Democrats they've come a long way when it comes to border protection, when it comes to sealing our border, all this stuff. They've come a long way, and Republicans are getting a lot of what they want. But of course, they're not going to get everything that they want because there's a negotiation that has to happen. But if there's a crisis going on, you need to address the crisis. And you need to take whatever you can get at that time to address the crisis. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And remember, we'll be doing live streams on Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be talking about the headline news. Okay. All right, let me show you guys this clip. Now, it's probably about 5 minutes. So it's going to be a side-by-side, so I might pause it and talk a little bit as he's talking. Here we go.
No immigration deal should be done with Democrats. So in studio this morning, we have U.S. Senator James Lankford with us. Senator Lankford, always a pleasure to talk with you about these issues. Okay, so let's start here. We'll get to all of the responses to what's been going on lately, but I do want to start with just a general update on where we are with negotiations. I know you said you would hope text would be out for this bill by this week. Is that right?
That's correct. Everybody needs to be able to read it. There's been lots of internet rumors of things that are in it. People need to actually see what's in it. The internet rumors are not true. So what we tried to be able to do is craft a bill. It's taken us 4 months to be able to go through this. The White House and Democrats initially were adamantly opposed to it. Republicans were very strong to say we've got to have changes in border law. This has been obvious. The last 3 years, we've had 8 million people that have illegally crossed the border. That's more than the last 12 years combined. So what we have shaped so far changes the asylum standards, dramatically increases the hearings, increases our detention so we don't have catch and release. We're actually doing detain and deport. We increase deportation flights. We change a lot of the process for how the hearing is done to be able to make it a faster process. Someone crosses the border, they get an immediate hearing and they get deported because not many people actually qualify for asylum, but that's the area that's being abused. So that's the area we lock in on.
And just listening to how far you have come over the past few weeks, I mean, are you happy with the progress so far?
Well, we've made a lot of progress. I'd love to have a lot more in this, quite frankly. But this is a bipartisan agreement. I've got to move it to make law through the Senate. That requires Republicans and Democrats both have to agree. In the Senate, you have to have 60 votes to be able to pass it. So are there things that I would want to have more in it? Yes. But are there a lot of things in it that will make an enormous difference? Absolutely they are. And a lot of these things are the same things President Trump was asking for when he was president, and he was frustrated saying there needs to be changes in law. Many of these are the same issues to say these are things that are not just a problem with this president, but the previous one, the previous one, the previous one. If we're going to fix this, we need to be able to fix it.
All right. And talking about former President Donald Trump, he put out a post telling lawmakers not to work with Democrats on this plan. Will will the former president's words, though, stop you all in terms of getting this bill moved through?
Yeah, it's not stopping me. I have a first obligation to actually protect the country and the national security. I understand he's in a presidential campaign. It's a different perspective at this point in the political piece. But this is something we've all said is a major problem that has to be addressed. I can't just look the other way and have millions more people this year come across the border when we know there have been 50 people already picked up this year that are on our terror watch list. We've had tens of thousands of people that have crossed the border that have been identified as a national security risk based on where they're from, that we don't have any information on them at all. Those folks are just being released into the country. That's a major national security problem. I can't just ignore that. We have to be able to address that and address it as soon as we can.
So let's talk about this now. The Oklahoma Republican Party, they voted over the weekend to censor and condemn you. This, we're learning that vote might be illegitimate at this point, but we do want to hear from you about your response to the censure and also condemning.
I get it. That was 117 people that got together that had that vote and then just declared that it was a whole Republican Party that actually believes this in the state. I don't believe that's true because I've been overwhelmed with people contacting me all weekend long saying, I'm a Republican and I stand with you. I've had members of law enforcement and firefighters. I've had just folks from all over the state that have contacted me and said, hey, we stand with you. We want to close the border. I understand the politics of this. There are some folks that say Biden's against the ropes because he's so mishandled the border, and he has. We've never had a border this open. His policies have directly led to what we're experiencing right now. But I can't just ignore that for the next 10 months and to say we're just going to continue to allow an unlimited number of people. As soon as we can close this, we need to close this. And even when President Trump was president, it was the other direction. Democrats wouldn't vote to approve anything on border security when President Trump was president. So when I have a moment to be able to solve a problem, not just for now or the next 4 years, but for the next 40 years, I should actually seize on that moment. As my mom used to say, there's never a wrong time to do the right thing. Let's do the right thing when we have the moment.
So, Senator Langford, just talking about and hearing you say you've gotten calls from Republicans here in the state saying we are behind you 100% when it comes to the work you're doing there at the Capitol or at Congress, excuse me. But, y'all been at it for weeks. How does that support help you and keep you going here?
It's just encouragement. People that are contacting me saying, hey, I'm praying for you. I want to see a solution to this. I want to see some resolution to it. They hear the internet rumors like there's going to be 5,000 people a day released in the country every day, which is nonsense. That's not true. That's not in this proposal. There are caps and limits where we actually turn people around every single day on it, and we have tight structures. We're doing 5,000 hearings and then deporting people, not doing hearings and releasing people. So people are twisting all the facts on this, and that's causing major problems. And people are frustrated because they don't want people illegally present in the country. Americans are very open to legal immigration, so am I. But I'm very opposed to illegal immigration because it's unchecked, unvetted individuals that are just released in the country. We've got to be able to resolve that. So this bill targets 0 as the number of people illegally entering in the country and focuses on how do we actually get there.
All right, so point blank here, how confident are you right now that this bill will pass through, get to the president's desk for signing?
I'm actually confident, so I continue to be able to work on it because it's a problem that has to be resolved. Hasn't been resolved in decades. It's the moment to actually get this resolved.
All right. What would you tell Oklahomans who are closely watching what's going on?
Tell them to not believe everything they read on the internet. And I would also say when it comes out, we'll get the details out. We'll get a section by section. We'll get the text. We'll get details on what every part of it means so people can judge for themselves based on the facts, not based on the fiction.
One more thing, Senator Langford. Okay, so you want this week that text to come out. Yeah. That's still true, but just some when exactly do you think this week that'll happen?
As soon as we can. I wish I could tell you. I 2 weeks ago thought that we were closer than we were. We've still got some skirmishes over words and phrases. It's the nature of a piece of legislation this big. We're going to try to get it as fast as we possibly can, let everyone get a chance to be able to read it.
All right, Senator James Langford, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, so that was Senator Langford. And he said some really important things there. I was listening to, I believe it was Senator Ted Cruz, and he was talking about this whole 5,000, because I guess what they're doing is they're doing 5,000. What they want to do is 5,000 hearings. So they want to do 5,000 hearings a week or like in a 5-day period. But if they exceed that number, so if you have more people that come in, more than 5,000 people that come in 1 week, they're going to shut the border down. And that they're going to shut it down because they need to catch up. They want to do these hearings. And what's happening now is they're not able to keep up with the hearings. And so you have people that are just getting released into the U.S. with a court date. So they'll say, I'm seeking asylum, and then they will be released no matter how many you have in a week's period. So they're saying, okay, we can do about 5,000 hearings right now. And so we'll do the 5,000 hearings. Once we get over that, then we're going to have to close the doors and then wait so we can catch back up. It sounds reasonable to me. Okay, you have Democrats and Republican senators that are getting together and they're trying to figure this out. And that seems reasonable to me. But then you have people like Senator Ted Cruz, who hasn't seen, this is important, he hasn't seen this in writing. He doesn't know what's in the bill. So all he's going on right now is just rumors. And you have other politicians doing the same thing, going on rumors, but they're out there speaking to the American people and just telling the American people false things, bottom line. And so we'll have to see. I'm hoping that the Senate will go ahead and vote on this. Even if it doesn't pass the Senate, I hope that they will vote on it just so we can see. Because if we're facing a crisis at the southern border, something needs to happen. And I want to know what politicians are voting against this bill. And we've already heard President Biden say that he would shut the border down. Once we reach that limit, we're shutting the border down. And we're already, I guess at this point, we're already going over that limit. And so if they pass this bill, the first thing that the president is going to do is shut down the border. And that's what politicians have been asking for. You have a lot of Republicans that have been asking for this for years. Now they have an opportunity, and what are they going to do? They say, you know what? This is a campaign issue. We use this to get elected. So if we address it now, then we can't use it anymore. And if we can't use it anymore, we might not get reelected. That's what they think about the American people. It's amazing to me. You're there to do a job. Do your job. Don't worry about what looks good, what doesn't look good. Do your job. And if you do your job, maybe you'll get rewarded for doing your job. And so, I mean, you could at least say, I mean, if you're running for office right now and you're running for re-election, you can at least say, I played a role in shutting down our southern border and protecting the American people. That can be your campaign slogan. But now it's just like everything is in chaos. Inflation is here, and we need to shut down the border, and we need to do this, and we need to do that. Okay, well, we have a bill that will address the border. And then you say, oh, yeah, I can't vote for that because I gotta run on that. And so it's amazing to me, but at least you have some politicians that realize, look, we're going to have to move forward with this. And I'm telling you, I've been following politics for a very long time. And I have never heard Democrats jump on board for some of the things that I've heard that, and I'm speaking from, what Senator Langford is saying. I've never heard Democrats come on board for some of the things that he's saying right now. But they're willing to come on board right now because they see that there is a crisis and we need to get control of it. And we've been talking about immigration reform for so long, but the reality is, some politicians don't want to address the border. They don't want to address immigration reform because it's a campaign issue that they can always run on. So I want to know what you guys think about this. So let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one.